and welcome to the Techstrong AI podcast. I'm Amanda Razani, and with me today is Vinay Samuel. He is the CEO of Zetaris. How are you doing?
I'm good, Amanda. How are you?
Doing well.
Actively on the show today.
Yes, happy to have you. Well, can you share a little bit about Zetaris? What services do you provide?
Sure. Zetaris is a new type of data platform, which basically, the fundamental capability is to automate information management. So where, clients are trying to bring together data from different aspects of their business, and usually they want to move it all into one big data lake or data store. And they have armies of people doing that. We automate that process. We make it much easier. We actually use AI to connect to data across the business and in the cloud, and then transform it so that it's in a business kind of language, if you like, and then present it to either AI or BI or reporting applications across the enterprise. So the main takeaway in terms of our capability is we bring down the amount of work effort, the amount of pain it takes to integrate data for business uses across the enterprise.
Great. Well, data is always at the root of many issues and company concerns, harnessing the data and storing it, getting the most out of it. So, what do you see as some of the biggest barriers or problems that companies have when it comes to this?
Yeah, sure. And this whole thing that I'm about to say is exaggerated, I should say, by the whole AI movement, right? Where everyone wants to build an enterprise AI. Every CEO out there, every board is trying to create competitive advantage by deploying AI across their front end, their back end, across the entire operating layer. And the biggest barrier we're seeing is that clients haven't even resolved their data for reporting or BI, let alone be ready to be data-driven, AI-enabled companies. And so what that means is organizations are faced with, the speed of data that we've never seen before. So, data across the organization being created by apps, by every customer interaction that's happening, by their own channel partners. And so first it's the speed and the volume of the data, and then just the different shapes of data, the different types of data, whether it's videos, pictures, transaction data. The complexity in terms of the variation is huge. And what usually happens is clients look at that and say, well, let's just focus on one project to fix one use case. And if we fix that, then we'll get on to the next project. And the speed of that internal approach where you're trying to manually bring your data together using the old what's called ETL process, extract, translate, load it into a downstream database. That speed is slower than the amount of data that's being created and the speed at which new data is coming into the company. So we're seeing clients who are in a constant state of disarray, if you like. As they fix one data problem in one part of the company, there's a whole nother stack of new data sets or use cases that require a restart of the whole project. So data in different shapes, data in different speeds, messy data, and the slow process that we think is the state of the art at the moment in terms of integrating data. All of that is in my mind the biggest barrier to AI adoption and maturity in enterprises.
Yeah, absolutely. AI certainly does change things quite a bit. Everyone wants to implement AI, and there's so many use cases promised with AI. So, what solutions would you give to business leaders?
Yeah, so it's really exciting for us. We've actually built a platform that enables you to do the end-to-end process in the one platform, in the one pane of glass, if you like, right? What we enable is you can use the Zetaris to connect to all your data and create a single view of your raw data layer, right? Once you do that, we use AI to transform it into a high quality business language based data view that then in turn can be deployed for many different uses. And one of the things we do within our platform is automate the deployment from the data layer into the AI framework. So some of your viewers may have heard of this RAG framework. This ability to actually intervene within the generative AI process, to intervene with your own private enterprise data. So what we've done is we've connected our data platform. We've connected that to a fully automated RAG capability, to be able to, within one process or one set of pipelines, if you like, be able to go from your raw data that's at the source, transform it, deploy the RAG, deploy the AI avatars. So we actually have avatars that you can deploy. So that end-to-end capability, we're not seeing many competitors in the market. That ability to create the single view of data, ability to create a high quality data set, put governance around it, business policy in terms of how it gets used, and then moving that all into an AI framework that ultimately ends up in a chatbot or some kind of AI experience. One of our experiences is this avatar. To give you an example, we actually have an AI mortgage broker that's running within a large financial services organization. And that AI mortgage broker actually acts as an assistant to all of the human brokers and takes away all of the pain in terms of understanding the bank's policy, understanding all the different rules in terms of product and lending. We have an AI clinical assistant, which basically does triage, supports human nurses in terms of that triage moment, and taking away again some of the assessment need for lots of data. When you're making an assessment on someone who's got a cardiac issue, for instance, there's a ton of data behind that decision, including the patient's own data. We take away that admin pain, that knowledge requirement that's getting bigger and bigger using these AI agents. So it's really interesting. For me, I started a data management company, 10 years ago, a company to automate data management, take away all of the pain in terms of bringing data together in organizations. But where we've ended up is these avatars that are assisting humans in terms of AI capabilities, AI avatars that are doing role-based sort of assistance of humans. So we have risk managers, AI risk manager assistants. We've got AI property managers, AI network assurance managers that are all based on the client's data layer.
That's so amazing. So it's offering people the ability to make more informed, wiser decisions very quickly.
Absolutely, and beyond that, be able to move from just that chatbot kind of AI. Like everyone wants to build a chatbot, but the real aspiration is how do we move from chatbots to these assistants that are actually role based, that are a lot more mature. And to answer your question earlier, what do we offer clients in this space is not just we've got a set of AI capabilities that we can bring. We actually have a workbench to build any kind of enterprise AI outcome. So usually what we do is we sit with the client's team and we work out what is the number one, number two, or number three AI capability that if we could build it within 6 weeks would revolutionize their company, change their business model. And that's fundamentally our promise. We say to clients, we'll do a Zetaris AI bootcamp. 6 weeks later, we'll give you a minimum viable product of an AI avatar or an AI outcome that could fundamentally change your business. So it's an exciting time for Zetaris and where technology has gone.
Yeah, no, that's something I hear a lot from different business leaders, that everyone's trying to harness AI and jump on the AI bandwagon. But sitting down and really brainstorming, where is there a real need? Where would the use case best be applied is important.
Yeah, no, totally. And I see that, that ideation thing happening every day in these boot camps that we're doing. We do like a 1-day boot camp or a 3-day boot camp, depending on whether the client has access to their data or not. So if we've got access to their data, it makes it better and faster and easier. But we can still do a 1-day boot camp. And in that boot camp, seriously, the that concept of there's no bad idea, everyone comes to the table, people from the business side. Sometimes they bring in customers and clients and technologists. And I've seen it happen, in front of my eyes where, something that looks like just the most ridiculous idea actually ends up being the main game and is actually the revolutionary idea to change, that business. In fact, this cardiac nurse project that we are doing, where what was an example of how in a boot camp someone said, the biggest problem we have is we treat every heart patient the same, and we treat the hypochondriacs exactly the same as someone who's actually having a heart attack. By the way, I'm a hypochondriac. Yeah, so we treat them all the same. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could find a way to differentiate whether this person's having a panic attack or this person's having, a genuine heart attack? And that it was actually said as a joke, but it actually became the main thing that we focused on, and we ended up building a really valuable capability.
That's amazing. Okay, so once they get past the idea stage and they've implemented the AI, another concern I hear a lot is how to track return on investment. So, what tips do you have there?
So that's a great question. So our whole model in terms of going from a boot camp to understanding the ROI to actually coming up with a minimum viable to test a thesis, that whole model has got to be financially based and value based. Because what I've seen is a lot of these AI projects. In fact, the reference is Gartner. A lot of these projects are failing. 85% of AI projects are failing. And quite commonly, the ones that fail are the ones that are focusing on the technology. I mean, I'm a technologist. Some would say, "What's he saying?" But actually, my advice is to really understand the business side and understand where the money comes from. Like, and when I say understand where the money comes from, that's across every spectrum, whether it's a hospital or whether it's a bank. It's all about, you know, does this thing give back time? Because time actually equates, as you know, equates to financial value. So this thing, does it give back time? Does it alleviate a specific problem that's driving cost? So don't forget the business fundamentals in terms of architecting these AI projects. It's very tempting to, listen to your tech team who have come up with some great eye-catching AI capability, whether that's a bot or a talking head or some sort of digital human. It's very easy to fall in love with something that actually doesn't make any money, or save time. And so in our boot camp, it's bolted in. We have a part of the boot camp is an ROI modeling section where we really ask ourselves the hard questions. Are we enjoying ourselves with some technology, and are we getting the business to do something, in inverted commas, something sexy, or are we focusing on something that's really going to turn the dial in terms of business value? And it's fundamentals. It's back to business fundamentals, as opposed to playing with technology.
Well, AI is developing quite quickly. So, if you look 2 years into the future, do you have some prediction for AI that you could share?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, there's a few things. One is we're seeing, just about every day, 2 or 3 new LLMs or large language models that are or SLMs, small language models coming out. I think over the next 2 years, what we're going to see is organizations have a bit of a penny drop, that the idea of your business IP, your tacit, what's the word for it? Your that commercial knowledge you have that made your business is at risk, right? In playing with all of this stuff. And we've already seen some early court cases and challenges happening to do with LLMs, public LLMs being accused of taking private IP. So because of that, I think more and more organizations are going to say, we need to build our own language model capabilities. We need to keep AI close to the chest and within the company's fences. And we like that at Zetaris because everything we do is within the company's control and is inside the company's fence, and all of the IP belongs to the company in terms of the business IP. So over the next 2 years, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of small language models being developed by domain experts, by enterprises that are focusing on banking, telco, retail, who are experts in their domain, building out AI capability with the help of technology companies. Because I think the penny's going to drop that this is, potentially an existential threat to some industries, to some companies, if they let that IP bleed out of their business. So we're excited about it because we have a model for any organization without the technical expertise to build their own AI capability and own it. So that's one big thing. The other thing that doesn't worry me, but that excites me, is a whole new framework for AI away from large language models. I think a whole new set of capabilities we'll see in the next 2 years that will head a lot more towards this idea of general intelligence and true AI. In my mind, whilst it's really impressive and it's changing every industry, it's what we're seeing today is still a neural net technology that was discovered, tens of years ago. And it's just that we have the compute to leverage it properly and train massive models. I think with the speed of compute, even this whole idea of quantum computing coming to the front of the industry, I think there'll be a whole nother type of framework coming out that will shock us all again. And we, maybe not the next 2 years, but I think in the next 5 years, we'll see general intelligence come along. And then that'll be another big game changer, and we'll have to rethink what business is all about and how humanity copes with it.
It sure will. There will be a lot more to think about at that point.
Yeah.
Well, if there was one key takeaway you could leave our audience with today, what would that be?
I think that the big thing is your biggest barrier to competitive advantage in this new world of AI and becoming a data-driven company is your data layer. Your data layer is messy. I've never gone into a company bigger than a corner shop that hasn't got a data challenge. So your data is messy. Your data is in different shapes. That you've got different types of data. It's scattered all over your enterprise and outside your enterprise. The sooner you can find a way to automate getting your arms around it and getting a single view of that data and transforming it using automation and using AI to transform it, the quicker you will get to that competitive advantage set of use cases and capabilities. So the focus should be on not just let me find an army of people and bring them in and hopefully they'll fix it. The focus should be on what is the right platform and tooling. And let me tell you, Zetaris is not the only one. There's a whole new set of technologies in information management and a whole new set of data platforms beyond what we think is the standard, like Snowflake, Databricks, and Teradata, and Oracle, and all of that. They've all become, for me, they are legacy systems. There's a whole new wave of technology that automates information management, automates data layer development. Go and find them. Talk to us. We're one of them. And save yourself a lot of pain and accelerate yourself towards those high value capabilities and use cases.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing all your insights today.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Really enjoyed it.
Me too. And thank you to our audience. Stay tuned. There's more.